Yes, guys, and welcome back to the unhinged, the undefeated, and the unbreakable TCP Live, coming at you live at 7:30 p.m. every Thursday evening on YouTube and available ad-free on YouTube memberships and Patreon. What did you just say?
I shall not repeat it.
Volumetric.
Yeah, the hair's looking. It's got good volume today.
Is volumetric a word? Am I being mean?
Yeah, volumetric is a word. It is a word.
Volumetric. It has multiple meanings. For example, the United States uses volumetric measurements for most ingredients.
Yes.
Volumetric analysis is a quantitative chemical analysis method that determines the amount of a substance by measuring its volume. Welcome back to TCP Live. Hi, everyone. Thank you all so much for being here. We're back. We are back. But we haven't done like a proper TCP Live in a long time. Just
no,
me
I haven't.
and you.
I've been in India, isn't it?
It's been like a month. Oh yeah, how was India? By the way, if you hate waffle, I would suggest skip forward.
Hold on a minute.
I think 15 minutes.
I swear it's good. The webcam's cooking, isn't it?
So we've got Rohan a new webcam. A Logitech. I say we. You have purchased yourself. you were like, we? We is a big word. Yeah, because basically what used to happen was on his old webcam, it would like slowly go out of sync over the course of, and then eventually he'd be turned into a robot. So
I was just using my FaceTime camera through my Mac.
Some people say, "Oh no, Rohan's going to invoice me." Some people saying the webcam looks grand. Do you want to invoice me for it? Should we pay for half of it or something?
Don't be silly. Don't be silly.
We're gonna get George a new mic for work when he's at the office, so he doesn't have to use his headphones. It's only been 2 years coming.
Is that what on like a shirt? On like a
little
shirt?
lapel mic.
Yeah.
Little lapel mic. We've got so much to do. I've got a parcel that Ford has sent me. We've got to do thumbnail review. We've got loads of stuff to do. So if you're, probably.
Can I actually ask everyone something? I want to actually ask someone something. I want to ask everyone something.
You want to ask everyone something? He wants to ask everyone something.
So it's a little bit old news now because it's nearly been like 2 weeks since I've been back, right? So on my flight back from India, right? Now, I always like the aisle seat. I don't like flying, first and foremost. I absolutely hate it. I get really nervous, especially when it's landing and taking off. I just hate it. So I like the aisle seat, so I don't need to look through the window. That's firstly. And also, easy access to the toilet as well. Easy access. Don't need to disturb anyone. Just in and out, in and out.
How many times are you going?
Well, I drink a lot of water, so I go probably like 6 times a day easily. Actually, probably more than that. Probably more.
Okay.
Anyway.
Where's this going?
Right. So obviously with it being a long flight, you get refreshments, you get food, and so the flight attendants, they come through, and the first time they spill orange juice on me, like accidental, and I'm like, oh, it's fine. So that's once. That's strike one, and then the following time, after maybe like 4 hours later, they spill coffee on me. And
did you kick off?
I was so close. To kicking off because, like, oh God, I was so annoyed. But I resisted because I thought, do you know what? I'm not going to project my anger on someone else.
Do you kind of wish that you had?
But maybe now, because he didn't really apologize properly, so maybe I should have created a scene, and I'll happily create a scene if I feel it's completely warranted. But I just felt like, do you know what? I'm close to home now. I'll leave it. But now, thinking about it, I was thinking about it today. I thought maybe I should have lashed out. Maybe.
In regret, you think normally people are like, I wish I hadn't lashed out, and you're like, actually, no, I wish I had lashed out
because he didn't even like apologize properly. You know, like just like really sorry. It's like, oh, sorry. And that was it.
Did you feel it was genuinely an accident?
Yeah, I do think it was an accident. Like the woman at the start when she dropped orange juice on me, I thought, that is like she was really sorry. You could tell. This guy was just like, oh, sorry.
He wasn't bothered.
It's like, mate,
I can't imagine you
coffee
angry
all over my trouser. I've had orange juice on there, and now I smell of a combination of orange juice and coffee.
Orange juice.
But what would you have done?
I think it depends if it feels like an accident or not. But I was just saying, I can't imagine you angry.
No.
I can't. Do you get angry? Do you?
That's why I don't like doing instant reactions when we lose.
Reactions. Yeah,
Like,
that's fine.
I don't like doing them.
I put a poll in the chat, which was, should Rohan have kicked off? And you've got 64% of people out of 45 votes saying yes.
Yeah, because it's like, if it happens once, fine. But the chances of it happening twice in the same flight is like crazy, isn't it? That's never happened before. I've never had anything spilled on me before.
What airline?
Virgin Atlantic.
Okay, yeah, kick off. Nah, right. I'm saying if you're on like Ryanair or something, you get what you're given. Do you know what I mean?
You don't get refreshments at Ryanair.
Yeah, no chance. There's no toilet.
You don't get anything. You got no space while you're sitting.
I saw this interview with the Ryanair guy, and he said he reckons people would pay for a £25 seat to get them like an hour flight with no seat. So like you'd pay to stand on an aircraft. Would people do that?
Depends on how long the flight. Well, if it's like to
an hour,
if it's like to Belgium,
yeah,
I'd do it. Probably, yeah.
You wouldn't stand going to India, but yeah, just an hour.
Yeah, I'd do it.
Definitely pay.
I'd do that. Yeah.
Honey pee.
How are you in terms of flying in general? Are you like?
In terms of flying, do you know what, I think I used to have a bit. It's one of those things that I think you can't overthink it.
Yeah, you can't.
Don't really think about it.
I know, but it's like when turbulence hits as well. Like, oh god, it's like
it's just one of them ones where, like, I mean, realistically, it is one of the safest forms of travel, right? But it is a bit scary. And if you think about, like, I also think about this in general, and this is just classic overthinking. Like, when you go into any building, you have to just trust structural engineers.
Yeah.
You have to trust whoever it was.
Yeah. And
we've met people, they might be idiots. And you just have to trust in every building you got, every bus you get on, you have to trust the bus driver. There's a lot of trust involved. Do you know what I mean?
There is. But the argument is that, well, this has been reliable for decades and decades and decades. Yeah. It's going to be better now with advanced technology. It's the same with like aircrafts as well. Like the technology there. Like, honestly, I work in obviously engineering and like the level of detail is crazy, and the level of and the standards that you have to hit always. Everything is done through certain standards. But mate, honestly, like I get so worried. I'm getting more the more I become exposed to like the news, obviously, and you read news every time, and you hear stories, and you hear obviously what happened in South Korea as well. It's like, it's scary. It's scary.
I just try and ignore it.
I think my go-to now is every time I see something related to flights, just don't look at it.
Just get rid of it. Do you know what stresses me out? Those people who have the BBC News. My friend Adam has BBC News notifications, and it comes with the noise, so it goes like bum, ba, da, ba, da, ba, bum. I'm like, why would you have that in your life?
Yeah, that's
more people have died. Oh, great, brilliant. I wanted to know that. Like, what? It's a terrifying way of living. Didn't come to any. Apart from the flight, how was India? We actually didn't speak about it.
It was really good. I was like hoping I could pod down there because I knew this was kind of a different type of holiday. It's not like with your friends. It was very much family orientated, and I wasn't going to be able to do much. So when I landed in Mumbai, I was like, oh, this looks really nice. Like, it's so different to when I came previously, which was back in 2011. And the first thing I was like to my uncle, who picked us up, was like, right, SIM card, need the SIM card ASAP, get it in, let's get it in. And the network was so good, obviously being the big city. But as I went slowly closer to home, I thought, oh no, oh no. And then there was like some moments when I was like 5 minutes away from home, I thought, oh, this is still holding up well. But then like the final couple of minutes, thought, where is the signal? There's nothing.
What was worse, Damsgaard's hairline or your signal?
Tell you what,
I feel bad. I do feel bad, but bro, you're earning so much money.
I know you do feel bad, but it's the same with that ref as well. What's that ref's name? Who did our game yesterday? But his hairline is completely gone. Crazy. His is like, it's just.
Damsgaard looks. Damsgaard, I tweeted. He looks like he's seen something as well. He's like a sort of. There was a moment where the camera went up on him, and he's like this. He's
Yeah,
terrified.
yeah.
He's like looking. He's like seeing a ghost. It's mad. Yeah. Okay. Well, lovely to have you back from India. Thanks for being here. At least we're not seeing you through that. I think we showed your TV last week, didn't we? So people
Oh
have
god,
seen
that
the
was
the state
the state
you're
of that.
watching the football you're on. First things first. So, by the way, we're trying to get a jingle, not necessarily for TCP Live, but someone is working on a jingle. We said this on a TCP Live recently that we want to get a jingle for the show, just Canon Podcast in general, and someone's working on it. So we will update you when we can. Thumbnail check. Obviously, you've got to do thumbnail check at the top of every TCP Live. This is, I think, a pretty good one. It's Martinelli, Living La Vida Loca. Oh, that's Damsgaard.
Yeah, it's
Oh, look at him, bro.
Wait, I feel like his hair's better there.
Bruh.
Yeah, he's one of those who don't blink, does he?
Bro is terrified. He is terrified
man.
of something. But that is that Ricky Martin? Ricky Martinelli.
Ricky Martinelli.
Ricky
Whose
Martinelli.
face is that actually
Very
Martinelli's face, or has Ford done something?
No, it's Martinelli.
Yeah, but sometimes he does it
Ricky
very
Martin.
subtly. He does it very subtly where he will like morph our face into it.
I think that's good. I'm going to give that. The thing is, the standards are so good.
But last week,
I'm going to give that an 8.
Yeah, I was going to agree with you. 8, yeah.
I might even go 8.5, but the standards are so high. We even got 2 versions this week.
Yeah,
on the Discord. Speaking of the Discord, obviously you can join us on Discord on the Canon Podcast to get ad-free episodes, to get exclusive episodes, to get scouted episodes, to get loads of stuff. I've got a Datapod coming tomorrow with Rohan and other George. But you can also access the Discord through Patreon and YouTube memberships to vote. Firstly on thumbnails, and secondly to rate us. And I want to get this going. We do have on the Discord, we have a ratings committee for how well we do on TCP Live. So if you want to rate us, and I will start reading them out from next week because we haven't really done it. But from now on, we need to, and I'm going to put them in a spreadsheet. We're going to track our performance over time. Sofa score, it's going to happen.
Because you see, we're holding ourselves to the top standards now, and if we don't hit the standards, then need to fix up.
And a good
what
TCP
are you drinking,
Live,
by the way? What are you drinking?
It's like lemon. It's like a Barocca thing. I haven't finished my I have my vitamin D, and then because you should always have vitamin D during the winter, and a bit of magnesium. Bit of magnesium helps you sleep. Should normally have more than I do, but anyway. Go on.
Eggs, salmon, also very good for vitamin D.
Oh, very good. But yeah, just in the northern, if you're in the northern hemisphere, definitely have a bit of vitamin D. Yeah, because a good TCP Live needs enough waffle, needs enough ball knowledge, and enough audience interaction. It's a tough balance. Speaking of which,
I should have definitely lashed out. Actually,
bro's still thinking about it.
I should have said something.
Forder, I'm just being careful not to show my address. Forder has sent me something, and I don't know what it is. And I will say I started to open it because I was like, what on earth is this? And then I realized what it was as I was opening it. I haven't seen it, but I've started to open it. Any predictions, chat? What do we think Forder sent me? By the way, I just gave a man on the internet I've never met my address. What am I doing?
But we could trust Forder.
We could trust Forder.
Pledge. It could be anything. It actually could
be anything.
I'm feeling a whiteboard.
A whiteboard?
Yeah, because just the way that it looks as you showed the packaging, it just feels like
I'm opening it now.
Yeah, so you can do your tactics, with you.
Okay, what's this? Oh, that's a Vistaprint thing. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, Jesus Christ. This is, I'll open it out. That is a Canon Podcast calendar. Is that the right way around? It might be.
Yeah, it is. It's
the right way around.
Yeah.
That is.
Wait, who's on the floor? Who's on the floor?
That's you as Bruno Fernandes.
Oh, for God's sake.
Forder, that is unbelievable. I have to see what it is. Hang on. Right. Mate, we should make these available for sale. Who would buy a Canon Podcast calendar?
No one.
Just literally everyone's like, absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Is there a little menu? Jesus. That's That's
Oh
January.
my god.
February. Oh, it's all the thumbnails.
Oh,
This
oh,
is actually quite
that's
sick.
actually so good.
This is very Forder. This is unbelievable. Oh, that was the end of TDK Live. Crazy for March.
I don't recognize the first one though. I don't recognize that one.
I don't know who that is. Oh, that's George from Datapod.
Yeah, it is.
That's unbelievable. This is so sick. What is that? Who is that?
That's George, isn't it? That's
Is that
George's
George?
face. Yeah, it is.
This is unbelievable. That's sick.
That's actually really good.
Fordy, you have absolutely cooked, bro. This is so cool. Oh my god.
That's the best one. That's the best one.
That's good.
Yeah, that's good. We've seen that one.
This is elite, man. If anyone wants it, we should do this. Honestly, we should try it. We should give the money to charity or something. That'd be so cool.
No, that would be sick.
That's so fucking sick. I don't know who this is. Oh, that's George and someone. I don't know who that. Is that me?
It's probably maybe you, yeah.
They were on September.
No, he's actually.
It's me as the breakdancer girl.
Oh, what?
This guy has absolutely cooked.
He's cocked in it.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Oh god! Oh god!
Right.
Wait, where are we going with this?
Oh, that's cute. I can't lie, Fordy, you've absolutely cooked. If anyone wants this, I think we should do a little like charity run.
Yeah.
Even if we make like 50 quid for charity, we should do that. That's actually so cool.
That's actually really good. Yeah.
Fordy, you cooked. Well done.
That Grand Theft Auto one, that's the best
That is
one.
very cool.
Yeah.
November was slightly disturbing for her, I can't lie. But yeah. Very good. Very, very good. People in the chat loving it. Right. 17 minutes. Should we get on to football?
Oh, Lord.
Lord. We won against Brentford.
Hey.
Hey.
So we're not bad at football. So
this is kind of the first thing I wanted to come to. That is very impressive for
Yeah, that's actually. I
Very
wonder
good.
how long it took him to do that.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. I'm going to stick it there on my wall. Yes. So this is one of the first things I want to come to. So I think Estee was very, very impressive, and I was really pleased with the performance. It was impressive. I think it was aspects of our play that could have improved, but in terms of the situation, no Saka, no Havertz, the illness going around, etc., etc. I think it was contextually a very impressive performance, right? I think, though, generally, before we sort of get into the game, we're 12 unbeaten. We are 2 points ahead of where we were last season if we beat Brighton. We are, I know people are going to mock this, but we are literally objectively the best team in 2024. We were even better than Liverpool. Best team in the country. It's not, and again, you say that stuff and people go like, oh, it doesn't matter. Okay, it doesn't have to matter. I'm just saying it's an impressive stat.
It's a fact,
like saying,
isn't it?
It's like saying Arsenal play at the Emirates Stadium. Well, they haven't won the league. Okay, it's a fact. It's irrelevant. But it's an impressive stat.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Like, it's difficult because it still feels like whatever happens, wherever we go, unless we absolutely blow teams away, and we, and basically until we're not chasing Liverpool, nothing will feel until we're not ahead of Liverpool. Behind them. I can't speak. Like nothing will ever be as impressive as it should be, even though it was impressive. It was a really impressive performance.
It's like I tweeted something yesterday where, and it's always kind of like that thing where you feel like most of the discourse is around something, but when in reality it's only a small minority that might be projecting their views, and that's hitting a lot of people, and they're just kind of like retweeting, and then the algorithm happens, etc. But I feel like this season the discourse for me around Arsenal has been through the lens of what Liverpool are doing, and I don't think that is an objective way of analysing and assessing your own football club. I get it. I get certain frustrations, but it feels like Liverpool have been very good. Liverpool win against X, Y, and Z equals Arsenal's recruitment is poor. Mikel Arteta is not good enough. This player is not good enough. This player is not good enough. Arsenal, are boring. Arsenal are this. It feels like everything goes back to what Liverpool are doing. And I do understand that, because it feels like, and it still can be, there's still a really good opportunity there. It feels like this year for many is one that is not maximized to our potential, especially when you consider what happened towards the back end of last season and Mikel Arteta's post-match interview after the Everton game on the final day. It felt like, right, this is the year that Arsenal are going to win it. And again, we can still win it. We're only halfway through the season. And I feel like everything just goes back to Liverpool. It's not looking at Arsenal in isolation, which I think you should do. I think there are certain things that we should be looking at Liverpool. Like, for example, Liverpool are excellent at the way that they're able to convert shots from turnovers. We're really good at turning over the ball. I'd argue we're still the best team in the world in the press. I stand by that, especially when you consider the last 2 seasons.
Which
but
is zonal,
from
right?
that... Yeah, I know what you do. That count annoys me when he does that. That count annoys me. But it's like, from that moment which we win the ball back to converting it from that sort of situation to a shot, we don't do that really well. Whereas Liverpool do that really well. So we can learn from them in that aspect. But that doesn't mean that Arsenal are poor at everything. And it feels like everything, all the discourse has been around that. And I want to reiterate the fact that there are so many things Arsenal are still excellent at. And going back to the Brentford game, Brentford at home, their form is ridiculous, and the amount of goals they score at home is ridiculous this season. And Mbeumo and Wissa have formed a really good partnership, and we gave them nothing. Mbeumo scored a fantastic goal, but outside of that, there was nothing that happened for Brentford in that game, barring the obvious Raya scare moment in the first half, which was a nothing shot. And I feel like we shouldn't always look at every single negative. We should look at things that we are doing really well, and there's a lot of things.
Yep, I do agree. I just think this is a massive thank you for smash the likes, people. I always forget to say that. I think this is a massive thing, and what you're saying about Liverpool there is so true. This should have been seen as a big step forward, because I'm just showing on the screen here. This is the pass network from yesterday. When you compare that to what's been happening so far this season in terms of how much our attack is going down the right hand side, we found a bit more balance. Obviously, that was naturally going to happen with Saka out, but I think it's a big thing. We found a bit more balance. The left hand side was looking a lot better. Okay, it's not perfect, as I said earlier. There were aspects of our performance that weren't brilliant. Okay, yeah, we didn't necessarily control that moment, but I'm also going to come on to another stat in a second about that. But as you're absolutely right, everything is seen through, but we've not caught up Liverpool, so therefore it isn't a positive. It's like, it absolutely is. And we always talk about this, but things can be true. 2 things can be true at the same time. That Arsenal have improved, they worked on their flaws. There's things that are getting better. We've got a January window to look at, which obviously we'll come to. But ultimately, until we feel like we're closer to Liverpool, it's almost like it doesn't matter, and that won't be credited. And I think we're going to look back on this season as a season of frustration, when actually I think if you look at it on a more micro level, you might go, oh, actually there was poor periods and then periods where we picked ourselves up. This was a game where yet again, we came from behind, which I think we've done quite a lot recently. And that's not, if we were ahead, we'd be looking at, young players and the records being broken and the calendar year stuff, and we'd be saying how brilliant it is. But simply because of that result and that fact, which obviously we want to change, everything is viewed through that lens. I think it's a real shame. And I want to come to this this pass map, or this sort of pass network, and the balance and the sort of left hand side in a second. But I also want to come to this, because this is another thing that I saw yesterday that I could not believe when I saw it. Have you seen this? It's like the XG stats about recent goals we've conceded.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's absolutely mad.
Monty, I think it was AFC
quickly.
Monty.
Yeah, here it is. Yeah. Okay, I'm just going to share it on screen. So this is Arsenal's last 12 games. They've conceded 9 goals. The Mbeumo chance was a 0.06 XG chance. Sarr 0.04. Jimenez 0.04. Emerson 0.09. Inacio 0.05. Neto 0.02. Nketiah 0.05. Mateta 0.21. Wan-Bissaka 0.41. Which is not, and I appreciate this isn't how XG works, but 9 goals that we've conceded individually from cumulatively 0.97 XG. When you consider defensively, I think we've gone above Liverpool in terms of the XGA. Even with this, we are incredibly impressive in many aspects of our play, and this is how we're conceding goals. But it just won't be commented upon because it's not because ultimately,
because it's through the lens of
doesn't matter.
Liverpool. Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter. Yeah, exactly. And that's the frustration, and like I said, I do understand it because it's like, we're both frustrated for where we are relative to where Liverpool are. I don't think anyone isn't not frustrated, but I just think that it's not the way to assess and analyze your football club. Look at what we're doing, look at things that we can improve on, look at things that we're doing really well. And by the way, it's kind of like when we spoke about how what Saliba is doing week in, week out is just the norm, but we don't talk about it enough. What Saka does week in, week out is the norm, but we don't talk about it enough because that's the standard set. The way that Arsenal concede absolutely nothing in games is deemed as the norm again, and we just accept it. But we shouldn't accept it. We should praise it because this is something that most teams, in fact, barely any team, maybe, barring Liverpool this season, are able to do this, and I just think that you should be praising things that we do really well. And I liked Arteta's comments beforehand in terms of like when he spoke about how, well, if X being Liverpool wins all their games, and you shake their hands and you say fair play.
Yeah.
But if they don't, we'll be there. It's kind of I
thought that was quite a subtly funny comment. I want to find it actually because I thought it was quite a sort of.
But in what way? I saw that from you before. I don't know how. Yeah.
Because he's sort of saying, "Chill the f out." Basically, okay. I think a little bit. So the comment was, if somebody wins all the matches, congratulate him and let's go to the next season. But if they don't, which in history hasn't happened, we'll be there. I.e., the idea that Liverpool are going to win. He's basically saying, in the same way that, by the way, Thomas Frank said yesterday, this idea that Liverpool are going to go through the entire season. If they do, as Mikel says, congratulate them and we go to the next season. But it's never happened in history that a team has done, almost never. You certainly look at what Salah's doing. If he carries on at the same level, that's a historic season. In fact, I think it would be like one of the maybe the biggest GA ever in a Premier League season, or something like that. If he carried on at that level, so if they do that, congratulations, and we move on. But if they don't, which again, as Mikel is kind of saying, that hasn't historically ever happened, then we will be there at the end of the season. And so that's kind of why I thought it was funny, because he's sort of saying like, yeah, of course, if they win every single game, then fair enough. But it's just never happened. So. And Thomas Frank himself, which if I rate Thomas Frank's
he loves Arsenal. He absolutely loves Arsenal.
I said yesterday, just before the game, if Mikel left, he would be very high on my list. You look at Alonso, you look at other coaches, maybe Raiola, I think you'd have to have a look at, but he'd be right up there on my list. I really like him. Before we come to the specifics of the game, just joined. Is Rohan on the bog?
Thank you for the super chat. But what makes you think that? Because I'm now getting a bit nervous.
I will say your wallpaper gets a bit of a bad rep on this show. Someone said yesterday that they thought it was smudges on their screen.
I can see that. To be fair, I can see that. It's just standard dead wallpaper. Don't need to change it.
From Dead Wallpaper from Slim Jeezy. Thank you so much. Love the pod. Can you say happy birthday, Sebastian? Even better. Happy birthday. Sing along to you. Happy birthday to you. So out of sync. Happy birthday,
start again.
Sebastian. Happy birthday
to you. We got the end of that. So.
Right.
I didn't think you'd clock actually there.
Fair enough. Absolutely fair enough. Left-hand side looked better.
Yes,
better. Not fixed. It was one game. Let's calm down. But better. Yeah. And when we look at the goal contributions, look better. What did you make of Calafiori, Merino, and Martinelli?
I felt, again, I need to watch it back. You see that voice crack there as well. That was a very big voice crack. I felt it was I thought it was kind of like a tale of two halves, personally, in terms of I felt the first half they were finding their feet, and the second half we saw more synergy. And fun enough, I'd say probably I didn't think Merino had a particularly good game in the first half. I didn't think
I
didn't think Martinelli had a particularly good game in the first half. And I also still think there's question marks over Martinelli in 1v1 scenarios at the moment. I don't feel like he's given me confidence that he's going to beat his man. Despite the goal, And Calafiori also had a difficult start to the game as well. Not just I personally think that the goal has been over analysed. I think it's a really good goal from Mbeumo. But in general, I didn't like his play overall on and off the ball. But the second half, you saw what they're capable of doing, and you saw the benefits of having two left footers in build up with a right footer, an inverted winger further forward, and you saw there was a lot more synergy. And Arteta mentioned it in the post match when he was talking about Merino, which we'll probably get on about that unit. And for me, as you alluded to, it was a lot better. And I think the numbers behind the game as well show that in terms of the way we kind of funneled attacks. It wasn't all right-sided dominant. It was very much, you still saw more of an even skew, and there was more symmetry in our play. And I think that plays a massive part in terms of your ability to access the center as well. Because if you're able to attack through both sides and you're showing similar levels of potency, there's more opportunities for you to find the center because teams are more worried about both sides, as opposed to just kind of like cramming towards the right and squeezing the center. But it wasn't perfect. And I do want to reiterate that, but at the same time, that was their first start in the Premier League as a unit. And we know how important continuity is for Mikel. He's mentioned the Ben White, Odegaard, Saka dynamic so many times in terms of the number of minutes they've been able to play together. You look at Saliba and Gabriel, that partnership it's been fantastic because of the number of minutes they've been able to play with each other, outside of obviously their brilliant qualities. And I just hope that we see these three, Calafiori, Martinelli, Merino, together for a prolonged period of time. I have some doubts. I have a feeling he will chop and change. And I think that I'm just not keen on that. I'd rather just see some games in which we have that trio and we keep playing them game after game after game, irrespective of the opposition, because I think it is our most balanced left-hand side. Even if you're not overly keen on Merino, if you're not overly keen on Calafiori, if you're not overly keen on Martinelli, I think maybe most people could say that that trio is where we can see ourselves benefit the most through the left-hand side.
Yeah, certainly on paper, and I think we got some encouraging signs yesterday. I want to talk about Merino specifically and sort of where he can maybe improve. We want to go into that in a second. But it takes some time. I mean, your favorite phrase, cooperative superiority.
That's it.
We expect players to basically jump in and fix it, straight away. And it's like, actually, you've got to give them some time. I think on paper it makes sense. The only one that's missing out, I was watching some Miles clips again today.
Mm-hmm.
He was against Ipswich, especially. Palace, he wasn't poor, but there was some mistakes in his game. He was brilliant, but there was some mistakes in his game. Ipswich, I was watching him again today. He was unbelievable. It went not under the radar because people were talking about it, but he was better than I remembered. He was
man of the match, mate. Man of the match.
Yeah, and that was so. I in every action, and he's so. I made this. I think I've spoken about this before. I made this graph earlier, of for a video I'm making. And it just basically sums up how I feel about him. I think we've spoken about this before. He's just bang in the middle of where you want a young player to come in. He's not coming in every action trying to show off, but he's also, he's not out of his depth. He's just exactly where he needs to be. Sort of spoken about that before a little bit. But I that's the only thing I look at and I say I think I want a little bit more from Calafiori, but I think that's going to take, again, a bit of rhythm, a bit of time. Similar with Merino. Actually, probably Calafiori and Merino are... Yes, as a pod, they need time, but also individually, they need time just to get themselves going. 100%. Ali, thank you for super chat. We'll come to that in just a second.
Calafiori is our youngest. He's younger than Saka as well, and I think sometimes that isn't spoken about enough. Yeah. And it felt like I don't know if you saw it, but it felt like there was some periods in the first half in which, after that Mbeumo goal happened, obviously Calafiori is the person in the spotlight, because he's the guy who's 1v1 against Mbeumo in that moment. And it felt like he was trying to impress a lot after that, where he was chasing for the ball in areas he didn't need to chase, and it looked quite rash. And that's part and parcel of the play that we have in terms of being a 22-year-old and being that diamond in the rough. But I'm adamant, I've got no worries about Calafiori, that you give him time, you give him minutes, you're going to see a player who's going to give us serious quality through the left-hand side. Like how we saw with Miles in terms of how he's able to break the game through. Calafiori can also do that. That's one of his specialties.
And as we've said before, we expect Mikel to compete with Pep, and then we don't give him the same grace of like, oh, under Pep, everyone gets a season. It's like, well, hang on, okay, well, so he's getting better outcomes, but he's not allowed to have the season. Okay, so yeah, at the moment, let's come to Merino. May I loose my analysis?
Yeah, go for that. That was a long tweet, wasn't it? That was
I was watching this morning. I've been literally thinking about Arsenal all day, as if I don't normally. A massive thing that Merino is brilliant for, and I want to just point this out. He is brilliant in these sorts of situations, affecting the last line. Look at the position of the centre backs. He terrifies centre backs because he's big. He can get on the end of things. If we're persisting with Waneri, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a lot of Waneri crosses from these sorts of zones into Merino and a couple of goals. I think you actually said it on the instant reaction. He basically becomes, in this sort of setup, almost like our centre forward when the ball's on the right hand side. Like he really can threaten things. I think Merino. So this is a massive positive and a real threat. This whole stuff about we want a bit more presence in the box, someone who's a bit more efficient. I think Merino could become that. I think we'll see some goals from him. I also love. The dual numbers are always there. I think he's physically really robust. I think he releases things quickly. My main concern about Merino at the moment, and actually you've mentioned it before, but I want to go further with it, is the concerns over him in the press and out of possession. He is brilliant, sort of deeper on the pitch, but when he gets into bigger spaces, I am slightly concerned about him. So I'm just going to walk you through these screenshots. So again, I want to say these were, I was looking for this because you go, I think this is happening. And while I was going through it, I think sometimes people just basically think of a narrative and then find a screenshot and then just show the screenshot and then that's it. Most of his performance was brilliant, and the dual responsibility that Rice normally does, he's doing brilliantly. But there's just a few moments like this. So this is the first one. Everyone in this situation, I wish I could show you the clip, but I can't because of copyright. Everyone in the situation is stepping up. And by the way, they've been stepping up for a little while beforehand. And he's just late. And you can see his shadow just here. Oops. You can see his shadow just here. And actually, you can see Partey is saying, step up. Norgard's looking and going, where are you? I think even Jesus is saying, where are you? And you skip to the next one. Waneri stepped on, Odegaard stepped on, Jesus has stepped on. It's a massive gap. That happens a few too many times where he doesn't make the right decision.
Yep.
Then the other version is, this is a situation. If you look at the distances between each player, so there's like about, I don't know, what's that? Maybe 12, probably 12 foot between these players, right? Each player. Then if you skip to the next clip or the next screenshot, Merino has properly closed his player down. He's got on top of him. And the other players are still at a sort of similar distance. He jumps too early. And he did this a couple of times in the second half. I didn't post this, but there are some clips of him doing it. And what it does is it provokes Brentford to act too soon. I said this on the instant reaction. They'll act a little. Sometimes what Rice does brilliantly is he'll hover about here as things are moving forward, and it'll provoke the inside pass, and that's when you jump. Yeah. If you jump up too early, it just provokes them back, and they get back into this sort of situation, this sort of shape, and they're not dangerous. Well, as in the ball isn't in a dangerous position. If you arrive too early in your press, and as you can see, he starts in a good position here, so it's his intent. If you start too early, you miss those sorts of opportunities to go inside, which is where Brentford want to go, by the way, and you don't provoke them in the same way. Now, this is, again, I want to say hypercritical. This is a bit unfair.
It's fair. I think it's fair.
And I could find more situations, but overall, it's just a few little details that I look at and say, I think you're still adapting, you're still learning what we want you to do in many ways.
Yeah. So the way I look at Merino so far, and I'll come back to your points because I want to talk a bit more about it because I've mentioned it a few times in terms of, and there are games, I can reel off many games. I'll watch every game back and I even make notes. I'll put it on I've got my notes of every single game. And with Merino, this game's against Newcastle when they tried to build out. There wasn't many times, but when they did, he, for me, was culpable as to why we weren't able to lock on and we weren't able to kind of sustain any pressure there. The same against Inter, although Inzaghi's build-up is fantastic. I thought Merino was culpable there. And even against Brentford in the first half. Now, maybe there is a caveat with the Brentford game in terms of the sickness bug going around, and maybe we couldn't apply as much intensity as a whole. Maybe there's a caveat there. But I think with Merino, and the point you made about him sometimes jumping too early is good, because I can guarantee you in this situation, Brentford probably went long after going to Flecken.
I think they did. I think
reckon,
you're right. Yeah.
yeah, because there's no simple available passing options to him. So when you force him to go long, that's fine. You win your duels at the back and you win the second ball and you've got the ball back, fine. But I always mention this, Arsenal nominally in their setup, they will start zonal in forward areas, meaning they'll leave a player light and give the opposition a free man because it's as bait and it provokes them.
Do you want me to find
I
it?
know you because it provokes them to play out, because it's from the opposition's point of view. Oh, we have a spare man. If we play around this press well, we can find the free man and we can break forward. But in Arsenal's case, it's something that we want to do because we want to lure you in, because we back ourselves to still win the ball back, even though you have a player advantage. And actually, for us at the back, we have a man advantage there because we've given you the free man and build up, so we have the spare man at the back, and that's where you usually see Saliba and Gabriel working in tandem against the centre forward. And I feel sometimes with Merino, he's a little bit late in terms of reading the situation, and that gives the opposition the opportunity to play out. And sometimes, like you alluded to, he goes a bit too early, and then that means it forces an immediate long ball. So it's something that he needs to work on. And that, for me, is the big criticism that I have of Merino so far, where maybe I didn't do my due diligence enough about watching him, and I didn't watch much of a Merino previously, so I kind of like looked at the numbers.
Also,
and
Sociedad, and sorry to cut you off, people hate when I do this.
No.
Sociedad Sociedad don't press in the same way we do. So it's very hard to translate from the out of possession stuff. The more, to be honest, when you're watching another player from another team, this is why I always talk about out of possession. It's like it's very different from team to team. And what Arsenal do is very specific. I'm not saying you can't tell anything, but this idea that I know it won't work. Well, hang on.
Yeah, exactly. And the point you made, privately, it's like, well, we actually, we're trying not to, but we are naturally comparing him to Declan Rice because we've seen what Declan Rice does in this position, and he's in the top percentile in terms of his ability in that. There's nobody better than Declan Rice in that regard. So we are being hypercritical there, but I just want to see more from him in that aspect. I slightly disagree with you in terms of releasing the ball quickly. Maybe he did it against Brentford, and I need to watch it back, but I feel personally at times he does slow it a bit too much. He slows the game down a little bit too much, especially in build-up. But maybe that's not the type of player he is, and you see his qualities further forward. But on the positives with Merino, and I mentioned it in instant reaction, I've mentioned it quite a few times, that every single game he plays, he seems to always get a goal-scoring opportunity. And that's not by luck. That's by his intelligence and his awareness in box situations. And Arteta, in his post-match press conference, he spoke about Merino and how he's a master of that. When the way that Brentford were going to defend and the density at which they defended with, and what he's mean by that is how compact they are in box situations and the players that they're looking to keep back to deal with players like Merino. Merino is fantastic at that. And we saw it. We saw it with the goal. It's from a set-piece situation. People will say it's kind of like, look how it kind of rebounded to him. But the more bodies you commit forward and you put it in the area, it's all probability. The chances are that it falls to your feet. It does. Like, for example, like in Everton, those sorts of situations, as much as the Everton game was frustrating, those sorts of situations happen time and time again, but the ball didn't fall to us. But if you keep doing that over and over and over again, you'll earn your luck. And I think for me so far, he's been fine. He's had some good games. He's had some bad games, but ultimately he needs more minutes, and that's where I think we'll see the real benefit of
and rhythm and time in the right zones. We can't talk about how much time Declan Rice spends in that position and then bemoan him not immediately jumping in. So it's one of those things. Very well, Chief says drink when you hear nominally half spaces, phase 3, zone 14 and title race. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I think your assessment on him as fine is a brilliant one. He's fine, and it's also, we're in an era where everything is like he's brilliant or he's terrible. Or
Yeah.
it's like it's okay if he's fine. Do you know what I mean? He's
Yeah.
fine. I think a lot of it, and George has kind of said this as well. A lot of the frustration about what we're doing in the window gets projected onto, and I do it as well. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
God's sake, because Calafiori and Merino, let's be honest, haven't properly hit the ground running.
Yeah.
That's okay. That happens with players. I believe in the talents long term. We've got a cup-tied goalkeeper and Raheem Uncle Sterling, right? So we get annoyed at the window and then we go, oh, that means Merino isn't good enough. It's like, well, no, hang on a minute. He is brilliant. For a £30 million midfielder, he's exactly what we need. If you expected Jamal Musiala, then go and spend £120 million. You've got a £30 million midfielder. Don't blame Merino. It's not on him, is it?
Yeah.
So, and I actually think he's probably a little bit better than that. So, yeah, I think it will take some time. I think another thing that I really like about him is when you see him interviewed as well, he just seems very focused on the job, very mature, very comes in, does what he needs to do, very complimentary of the younger players. I think he's a good example. I want to come on to Waneri in just a second, but we'll just go to a few super chats first. Ali says, would you want Omar Marmoush at Arsenal? Had the pleasure of training with him back in the day. Ooh.
It's crazy.
Subtle flex. And one important thing I learned about the difference between the average player and a pro player is athleticism. I need to watch more of Marmoush, but what I've seen is a kind of Luis Diaz 2. I like how he dribbles. I think one of the big things at Arsenal at the minute, aside from Jesus and Saka, but Saka's more just Mr. Efficiency. I don't know if we have a proper mazy dribbler.
Yeah,
someone who can do the cutbacks outside the boot, who can sort of like actually Waneri's maybe a little bit closer, but it's on the left hand side. There's all players that play on the right. On the left hand side, a proper like mazy stop and start you in and out type winger, and his hips don't lie, baby. I really like him. When I've seen clips of him, he's in quite a transitional team. I don't know how quick he is, to be honest.
I don't know much about him. I don't know much about him.
Good free kick delivery. Like he probably take over on free kicks, but do we need that? I need to watch more of him. But yeah, I think on what you're saying about the average player and a pro player being athleticism. Yeah, I mean, like if you think also a massively underrated aspect of footballers is how flexible they are. If you imagine, if I tried to kick, people probably know, as I mentioned it 4 million times, I used to be an actor, and I was like maybe like at my absolute peak, like I'd be able to touch my toes, nearly not being splits, but like, get not far off. These guys can kick their leg like almost behind their ear, and that's like a ballet dancer. And you like Declan Rice, sometimes he'll pluck something out of the air, and his legs he's so muscular but also so flexible. It's all like the plyometric stuff, and that is like being able to do it in every single which way, strength and power and whatever. It's a massive aspect.
You see when he comes out the tunnel, Declan, right? He always does that jump, doesn't he? Like he does it's just like
yeah. You know what? He knows what he's doing.
Do you reckon they do a lot of yoga? Football players. I reckon they do. Yeah, I reckon.
Any plans for a scouted episode on Lookman? Love you too, Jake. Potentially. I'll be real. I know a bit more about Lookman. I don't know if Lookman is as good as I think. What Lookman is in a system that is absolutely perfect for him. And by the way, that's no bad thing. I think sometimes like that's like bemoaned. If he's their main guy and he is allowed the freedom to go left and come inside, to receive wherever he wants, to run at things. He is shoot on sight. The shot placement is very impressive in terms of the consistency of either side. It's not quite like Sheshko cannon off the boot, but he can hit them, and it's venom in the shot.
Very efficient. He's very efficient.
He's very efficient. Yeah. I just don't know with different spaces and being asked different questions. If I'm looking at if you watch a lot of the clips of Lookman, he's running or he's arriving. When we're breaking down low blocks, I just don't know. I don't see it. I don't see it. I think he'd be okay. But this idea that you're going to sign Lookman for £50 million and that's your answer at left, I don't see it. I'm sorry.
I have to say, actually, I was thinking about this. Maybe I'm digressing a little bit, but it's the same kind of idea in regards to our left wing. And the way that Arteta spoke about Martinelli in terms of, I might be reading too much into it, but the way that he spoke about Martinelli in general in terms of isolating and how you can't isolate Martinelli in the way that you do to Bukayo. He was kind of referring more to it towards the right hand side, but he was also just generally speaking as well. And he looked at what Martinelli needs in terms of he's very instinctive. He needs players around him within close proximity. And firstly, that's all perfectly fine, and I agree with his assessment. But then the way that we used him last season just makes no sense to me. But secondly, it kind of makes me feel like now I'm convinced that Martinelli is not going to be. I don't think he's going to be at Arsenal long term. I don't think he is.
How the turns table.
Because you remember
how the turns table.
You know what it is?
There will be some of you watching who remember.
Wait, hold on. You can't put this on me. You
in
could
the
not,
summer.
You cannot put this on me.
But hang on. You cooked me in the summer for this. You
Did
cooked
I?
me in the summer.
Did
You
I?
cooked me. Yeah.
When was that? When was that?
Prove it.
Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is? So I remember
I had a friend. I'm sorry. I had a friend called Alfie who, anytime you disagree with, you said anything, he'd just go prove it, and it's actually a really good. It's actually a really good way of getting out of anything. Just say prove it. So I can't prove it to you. So there you go. Done.
But do you know what it is? It's like, so I love Martinelli, and I've said it many times. But I'm looking at how the team is being designed and what Arteta is saying and the way that we're playing, and I'm trying to connect the dots, right? And I said this in a previous pod, like if we are going to look to maximize Martinelli, it's not the way that we're using the left winger in our system, regardless of Calafiori or Merino, in my opinion. If we are looking to change it, then Martinelli is fantastic, in my opinion. I think he can be fantastic. But the way that we use our left winger, I just don't see him being the best possible option. And that's where I stand. And that's where I stand. It's like, if we're going to tweak it for Martinelli's benefit, fine. But the way that Mikel speaks about wingers, I think that it kind of hit me when those comments came out. You kind of know anyway, because obviously the links with Williams, Mudryk, over the years, etc. We've always consistently linked with a left winger. But now it's kind of like, okay,
Jonathan Kay's nailed it here. Straight line player. He's a straight line player in a non-straight line team. There's a reason Klopp liked him. Like it's just that's just what he is. Yeah. These were bizarre comments. Bizarre, considering how we use him, and again, maybe he just sees this as the best option. I don't know. Gabby needs people around. Mikel Arteta and what Marcelo needs to succeed on the right. Gabby needs people around him. He needs constant threat. He needs to be always in the last line when the ball is on his side, that he has relationships there and people close to him because he's very intuitive. He's always a threat. I think if you're isolating too much, you're going to suffer.
This is what and by the way, you know in the first part of that, he says Mikel Arteta on what Martinelli needs to succeed for the right, on the right, sorry. He wasn't specifically just talking about the right, he was also talking in general about Martinelli as well. And that's when I thought, okay, so the way that we played last season in terms of how we use the left-hand side, then we are not, I know we're not maximizing Martinelli, but you've literally just told me that anyway, because statistically he was one of the most isolated wingers in Europe last season, and we funneled most of our play through the right-hand side. We didn't switch play. He didn't have players in around him to combine through the left-hand side. We spoke about it so many times. And you've kind of just said everything that we've been saying on here for so long. But then it kind of makes you think, well, there's a cap on where Martinelli can go at left wing as well, if that's the way you see him. So, So I found that very bizarre. I completely agree with his assessment, but it's like, well, the way that we used him is going against your assessment.
It's the thing. I completely agree. It's just like,
it's like
this, you did this, bro, and you do this all the time.
And do you know what the thing is as well?
Not for one game either.
You know what the thing is? He's absolutely spot on in terms of Martinelli needs to be on the last line. He absolutely needs to be on the last line. Right. So I see Martinelli potential up front as well. But if he sees him maximize on the last line, then he's not going to be a centre forward in our team as well. He's not going to be it. Unless Mikel tweaks it. And obviously we can tweak it. We can continue to iterate. But from the evidence that we have in front of us, then from his comments as well, he's not going to play games that up front as well. So,
well, he's I mean, yeah, you're right. We can tweak it, but if we think back, have we had a centre forward that isn't a version of a false nine since Lacazette? So,
and that's
even the way he used Eddie Nketiah wasn't like a proper number 9, was it? Do you know what I mean?
Aubameyang is our last like on the shoulder type of number 9, and he moved him towards the left many times. And there's a reason for that. That he has a specific idea of what he wants from his number 9, and maybe he doesn't see Martinelli being able to do the things in deeper areas. Now, I'd argue, I think you can develop him to do that. But from what I'm seeing, and I also listened to his press conference as well, because kind of like when you see quotes and it's like it doesn't tell you the full story. But I listened to it as well, and I thought, it just seems quite damning when you read between the lines and you connect the dots.
I just don't get it. Like, I don't understand the Martinelli thing. I've been thinking about it for like over a year, and I still don't understand what we're doing. It just it doesn't compute to me. It's a very bizarre situation. Because it's like I go back and forth between like, well, maybe this is just maybe it's the defensive work, and maybe he does want to keep him long term, but maybe he's not being backed. But then surely if he wasn't being backed, they wouldn't have bid 60 million for Mudryk. And then is it the player? But then if it was the player, do you know what I mean? It's just like it's just if it was the player, then there's players out there, and why haven't we gone for anything? And we looked at Rashford in the summer and were priced out of it. It just doesn't. It's almost like he's like happy with how it is. It feels like, or the club are happy with how it is, even though they seem to know it's not working either, and they know he's not right to be isolated. So I don't get it.
Yeah, really. I just think that the way that we use our left winger, I think Martinelli can thrive with Calafiori and Merino, but I think from Arteta's point of view, he can see an upgrade there.
Jagun Funalua. Thank you. Thanks for the super chat. How do you feel about Kubo from Sociedad? We've been linked today. Would he help and be long term? Also, possibility of Nico release clause this January. Well, we're talking about transfers now, so let's do it. Kubo, haven't watched him. Sorry. Nico release clause this January. I have a bit of a theory. Do you want to hear my theory? So I think the Nico release clause that I buy. Even if we'd signed him in the summer, I wouldn't have been like he's a guaranteed minute 1 startup. He definitely improves us, and this is something I've always said. Ultimately, there's people saying, "Well, don't want to sign the wrong player, bro. Saka's out. We already needed a forward signing. Like it's not even about qualities, but it's firstly just numbers, and secondly, you can improve without changing without finding the future of the position. You always can. You can still improve, and we need that. So
he would be the winger I like. I'd go for. I think the raw qualities, he has everything that you want in a winger. Granted, there are frustrations, and I think he can frustrate you in the final third. But his ball striking, how quick he is. From a standstart and on the run. We saw it in the Euros. We actually saw both the pros and the cons of Williams, where some certain games like, oh my God, what is he doing? But then you see what he's capable of doing. You saw in the final, you saw in some of the group stage games as well. And I felt that just that Spain team in general, it was kind of like, how we always see football where like 4-3-3 classic, 1 sitter, 2 number 8s, and 2 electric wingers. And I think that there's a lot of things that Spain do that are similar, not all, that's similar to the way that we set up as well. And I look at Nico, I look at Williams, and I think I'd be willing to invest in that talent.
I hear that. Yeah. Again, it depends where we want to go, because I think actually, if I think about players in world football that you forget feasibility, forget money or whatever, just who would go into our system right now and be better than Martinelli, Williams is on the list, because he's a player who can go around the back and still affect things, and I think he can be isolated and still create something. Whether it's I think something when I watched him, I remember being really impressed by how much he could get the ball just into the box. I think sometimes Martinelli goes down blind alleys, so I think he would go there. But then it's about, do you see that as the future of the position? If you're signing that player, you're signing another player because he's going to be on big wages, whatever. I have a very Arsenal scenario I would like to put to you. How Arsenal is this, guys, watching? Norberto Neto. This guy, man, right? Cup tied. We end his loan early. So we free up a Premier League. We are currently, because we have 2 Premier League loans, we can't make any more Premier League loans. We cancel Norberto Neto's loan. At some point, Arsenal are going to have to do the second goalkeeper, right? We do the Joan Garcia release clause before, and I was told earlier on by someone quite reliably, as in just from like a report, not that it wasn't told by someone in Spain, but quite reliably that his release clause is about to go up, and if he makes a appearance for Spain, it goes up by 10 million, but it's also going to go up anyway. So we act, I think it's before January the 16th. We do the Joan Garcia release clause, moving it forward from summer. Then we get Evan Ferguson on loan from Brighton. That is a very Arsenal kind of window.
Evan Ferguson is cold, mate. Honestly, I'd have to see how he is post his injury because I've not really seen much. But Evan Ferguson before his injury, you're looking at one of the most complete number 9 prospects in the world,
bro. I've always said when he if you get him on the D facing the goal, you're dead.
Yeah,
dead.
And just his vertical straight line running as well, he charges through the center. He's crazy. He's got a lot of Wayne Rooney qualities as well. If you watch him, he's got a lot of Wayne Rooney characteristics. But I don't know how he is since his injury. I mean, do you remember the it was the
Newcastle game where he scored the hat-trick?
No, it was against us. The 4-2. Yeah, the 4-2 in 22-23 versus Saliba. And he manages to do Saliba and he scores. And that was the first time I saw Evan Ferguson actually started watching properly. He's ridiculous. I think if Evan Ferguson is fine after that injury, go all out for him. Go all out for him. I'd forget about any other striker. I'd go all in for Evan Ferguson because that talent is crazy.
Well, I think the loan makes sense to me because then it doesn't stop you from doing anything. And I think the thing is always people will say, "Oh, do we need a striker or a winger?" I always say it's the skills gap, and he fills a lot of the skills gap in terms of the box efficiency and the presence. In terms of the kind of line leader that we might need, in terms of the ball striking, a lot of stuff. I don't necessarily think he solves the transition thing, but whatever. I think you only need to steal one of them, to solve one of them. Sorry, to deal with that. So it just feels like, look, is it the most exciting way of doing it? No. Is it? If we want to just go get Isak for 120 million in January, yes, please.
Do you know what it is?
But it feels like a very Arsenal thing that we can do. See what I mean?
Yeah. Back to the Williams thing, and one of the things that people will say, and just in general about players, like Williams is not having a very good season so far. I've not watched much of him actually, but in terms of numbers, he's not doing great. But cast your eyes back to Alexander Isak before he signed for Newcastle. His numbers weren't great either. You invest in the talent, and actually go back to, I think it was a couple of years ago, I said Arsenal should do everything they can to buy Alexander Isak. Get him when you can acquire him for a decent fee. You might feel like you're overpaying in that moment, but you reap the rewards if you're able to kind of use that talent to your advantage. And it's the same for players like Williams as well. Like for me, Alexander Isak, it's just not going to happen. I don't see any way this happens personally, unless he tries to force for a move. Because right now, Newcastle hold all the cards for this.
Not in January. Not in January.
But even in the summer, I think it's north of 100 million that you're looking at for Alexander Isak.
Yeah, but I think it's worth it. Honestly, like I was watching the other night and I was like,
he's crazy.
Bro, I would sell my kidneys.
But what about his injury record, though, Alex? His injury record.
How much do you love Arsenal? We are both asked to give a kidney to get Alexander Isak in January for free.
Okay.
So the entire Arsenal family.
Right. Nobody's going to question my love for Arsenal. I'm not giving away my kidney.
Right, hang on. So guys,
I'm not giving away my kidney. No, you
So
wouldn't.
So yes, I would.
You
Of course I would.
wouldn't.
If the,
No, you
no, but think of
wouldn't.
what a legend you'd be. Think of what a hero you'd be. If you could give your kidney one, you only need one. You could give
I
your
know you only
kidney
need one, but
for Alexander Isak, and the entire world knows you did it, and it was free
I might give
because of
my
that.
kidney if you give me like 3 Premier Leagues and 3 Champions Leagues over the next 5 years. I ain't giving away my kidney for a player. No chance.
Right, chat.
No
We're doing a poll.
chance.
We're doing another poll. I like these polls.
Nobody is giving away their kidney. Imagine
Poll.
you tell your
hang on.
family, like, oh,
Kidney for Alex Isak on a free,
I ain't giving away my kidney.
and everyone would know. So you'd be the guy who did it. I'm starting the poll. That's
I know you
crazy,
only
by the
need-
way. You hate Arsenal, is what you're saying.
I know you only need you don't need to, but there's a reason why you have to.
Why are people saying no? What's wrong with you? Oh, it's neck and neck. It's 49.
I don't believe anyone. It's all good saying it in this hypothetical scenario, but when you are presented with that situation, you are not giving away your kidney. You are not doing it.
Ignore this. Ignore the fact our owners are billionaires. No. Exactly. Amit, and actually, I respect that. I will sacrifice both of Alex's kidneys to give a statue outside the Emirates. I'll take that. I'll just die. I get a statue. We'd still miss out on the title, but you know what? I tried. Matthew says the best thing for Nelly's career is to leave Arsenal. I think he will. I think this is going to be our first big sale, which is quite exciting, by the way. I think we could get 50, 60 million for him. But I remember on a pod in the summer, you were cooking me for this.
What did I say, Alexander Moneypenny? What did I say?
Prove it. Andre Bergeris. Nah, get me my Swedish brother. Break the bank. Andre, would you sell your kidney? What do you reckon the poll is? It is genuinely neck and neck. 51% to 49%. 51% saying yes. 49% saying no.
Would you actually do it, Alex?
Yes, bro.
I don't believe you.
You got to die to get 3 points. You got to literally die to get 3 points. Okay, what about a bull? What about a bull?
Absolutely not.
You wouldn't give a bull?
Would you? Oh, what?
Joe, I nearly revealed a very personal medical thing. I'm not doing that on stream. I'm not doing that on stream. An ear?
No.
Would you give any body
part? I want to be symmetrical, Alexander.
A toe.
No, you need your toe. For running.
Bro, you wouldn't give a toe. Come on. You hate Arsenal.
You are not giving away a toe for Alexander Isak. I refuse to believe this. You're not doing it.
I'm not telling people about my balls. People are asking. I'm not telling you. It's genuinely 50-50, so I'm going to leave it there. That's really funny.
50-50.
This ownership would take both of my kidneys, make a profit in the window, and get Reams. See, this is okay. Yeah, okay. This is good. This is a good question. How many pints of blood for Isak?
I'm more than happy to donate blood because donating
thing to do, but he doesn't actually care about Arsenal. This guy sits there all day.
Wait, how many
on Twitter going, "Oh, it's actually not a man-to-man press. It's actually a zonal press." But he wouldn't give a toe for one of the best strikers in the world. Who is this guy, man? Who is this guy, bro?
You're gonna continue to use that against me because it does trigger me.
You wouldn't even give a nose hair.
I'll give a nose hair.
Okay, put it this way: you go full bald for Isak. You can't get your hair back.
No. I've got a massive spot on the back of my head. I can't. Oh, no, I can't.
Hairline reveal for Isak.
Yeah, I do that, but we're not getting Isak, so it's fine. Would you shave? Would you shave your head and you can't
shave my head? Of course I would. Oh, I can't grow back.
Can't grow it back.
I feel like my hair's kind of like my personality. You know what I mean?
You want to keep your hair. You want it.
Yeah.
Trust me.
No, I can't lie. I'd give my. How mad is it? I'd give my kidney if it wouldn't.
You're not giving away. You're not giving away your kidney.
I would. Right, we're moving on. Tipsy, thank you so much for super chat. The ownership would take both my kidneys, make a profit in the window, get Raheem Sterling on loan, bro. We need some. Do you think we need an attacker, guys? Before we move on to a bit of higher or lower, Ethan Waneri. He's good.
Baller, innit? Baller.
Good at football. Your favourite thing about Ethan Waneri?
Oh,
Right, Nicky, I'm not having that. We're actually oh.
that's fine, is it not?
Yeah, no, we're cooking.
That's
There's a bit of receding, but we're cooking something.
Some people think your hairline starts like here.
You're being very kind. Yeah, go on.
My favourite thing about
Favourite
Ethan,
thing.
in terms of qualities.
Yeah, as a person. No, just what? Yeah, what do you think of him?
I just think like the way that he's kind of like under pressure, receiving it back to goal side on the way he turns and the way he's able to perform a really positive action, like whether it's a shot or a pass or carry. That's what I love about him because it's the intent. It's the way that it's kind of like Phil Foden-esque. I think you mentioned it before. That for me is I think that's like his quality that everyone knows. There's loads of other hidden qualities, but that's something that makes him stand out from the rest.
Do you know something that I think in everyone's attempt to understand football, sometimes like just things like he just controls the football really well. That's enough. That's his quality. You don't need to make it this like the deviation in the half space. No, he just literally like controls the football really well.
The way he turns. I like the way he turns.
Yeah, like, he turns really well. He can hit the ball really well. It's fine. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I tell you what I didn't like though. I tell you what I didn't like. Arsenal fans, and again, obviously, don't know how many, but you know the game against Palace in the cup, which Ranieri came off at half time. Arsenal fans used this as a way of saying, "Oh, you see why he's not ready. You see why he's why Mikel is integrating him slowly." It was like it's absolute nonsense. Go watch that game back. The reason why he came off was purely tactical. It was genuinely purely tactical. It wasn't down on his performance. He gave the ball away a couple of times, you know. But I hate that. It's also that I absolutely hate it, you know, because in the Newcastle game as well, right? Do you not really
it's just the fury you should have given your version.
Should have given that
Virgin
that
Atlantic steward.
Yeah, but you know the Newcastle game, right? We all watched that game for 80 minutes. Arsenal stink it out, and so many players underperform in that game, right? And Ethan comes on and he misses a couple of scenarios in which he should have made this run, and then people are, oh, that's why he's not ready yet. We've literally watched all these other senior players mess up in this game and not play well, and you're going to single out a player who's came on for about 10 minutes because he missed a couple of runs. Oh, I don't like that. I absolutely hate that. It's actually disgraceful. It's so disgraceful.
There's people who want the manager sacked when we're better than we were last season. We've had 3 sendings off, none of which were fair. Our 2 best players have both been individually injured for 2 months. We were the best team over an entire year sample in the entire country. Our average age is still something like 25, and Mo Salah is playing like
he's on course for 70 GA.
He's on course for like 75 GA, and people want the man. People are like, it's not even like a debate. It's not like, oh, maybe. It's like absolutely. Definitely.
Yeah.
Mental. Right, you had some... We're going to play a game, because we do on TCP Live for the last sort of 15 minutes or so. We're going to play higher or lower. Rohan has prepped 3 higher or lower questions, but we also want as many as we can from you lovely, lovely, lovely individuals. Thank you for being here. Thanks for watching TCP Live. Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you sign up as a patron if you want to do so, so we can get Rohan to Turkey. Get me to Turkey at this point.
My hairline's fine. I don't need to prove.
You won't reveal it though. Why won't you reveal it? In time. Right, go on then. Higher or lower?
Right. Calafiori, Merino, Martinelli as a trio will play 8 Premier League games. 8 Premier League starts. Are you making this up? Together. No. I had it in my head. Well, I had ideas, but yeah, we'll have 8 Premier League starts together by the end of the season, higher or lower. And they've already had 1, so 7 more.
Premier League.
Yeah, Premier League.
Higher. Higher, but not by much.
I feel like, yeah, just, but I could see it being like 8th.
Yeah. I don't think. Yeah, I think there'll be a lot of Rice rotation.
Would you
a
be
little bit of
happy
left
with
back
that?
rotation, but I think it will happen.
Would you be happy with that? If they had 7 more Premier League starts from now to the end of the season together, and they're all available as well, let's get that in. You know, they're all available to
It
play.
would depend on the context. Like if the context, like if they've not been fit, then it's just like, well,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Got another one.
Go on.
Merino to get 7 Premier League goals by the end of the season. Higher or lower?
Higher.
Oh, really?
What's he on now?
Well, he's on 2, isn't he? Yeah. He scored against
Ooh.
Liverpool and he scored against.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he's Brentford.
More than actually, yeah. I've jumped the gun there. This is like when I saw it.
Maybe
I was,
you are.
I was watching because... Lenny. I was watching Lenny Yoro, and I went generational. I was like, well, okay, let's.
No, but you know, no, he's a top talent. He is a top talent. But
Mate.
I think we mentioned it before about Merino in terms of pretty much every single game he generates a goal scoring action. He's in and around a scenario in which he could score. So
morally higher. I like this.
Morally higher.
He should get more than that, but he might not.
I'm going to say lower. Yeah, I'm going to say lower for that. Ethan Wanyeri to get 6 G&A by the end of the season in the Premier League. Was that your doorbell?
I think that was my door.
See how I heard that?
Who's at my door?
It's Forder.
Imagine, bro.
Imagine it was Forder.
I love you, mate, but who's at my door? Finn? Carry on.
5 G&A, higher or lower? I'm going to say higher because it's G&A. What is he doing? You're on mute. What's up?
Someone's here.
I think I know.
Anyway, we'll carry on.
We can wrap it up soon if you want it.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Wait, give me 2 seconds. Give me 2 seconds. Carry on.
Yeah, that's fine. Chat, what do we think? Higher or lower? I think 5 is very doable, especially with Saka's injury now and how we can kind of envision how Arteta is going to set the team up going forward. Oh yeah, sure. Moving on.
Friend's girlfriend. Moving on.
Higher or lower, Alexander? Higher or lower, Ethan to get 6 G&A by the end of the season in the Premier League. He's got 1 goal.
Ooh. Lower, but that's fine.
That's fine, yeah. I'm going to go higher. I'm going to go higher. Yeah, I've got a feeling.
Bro, if he got 7 or 8 GA in
I've
the
got a
league,
feeling.
considering how many minutes he's going to have, that would be really impressive.
Yeah.
Jeez. There you go. Right, we're going to go to the audience. No, guys, stop cooking me. How's Alex Paul, higher or lower? I will say, there's a nice person on the scene. Guys, I did it. Still early doors, but we'll update as we go along. So the hinge is working.
I was going to say something
Physics
really
Frontier.
dangerous.
It was actually off hinge, to be fair. So,
was it after the changes,
bro?
I'm
telling you. I think so.
I'm telling you, chat. No, I was cooking with my advice. Chat, wasn't I cooking with my advice?
You did cook. I'll be real. Yeah, so I showed my hinge, and then Rohan made some changes. And then,
the chat supported a lot, but I was like, the emphasis has to be on like your face. Like there was some of the pictures where you could barely see you.
No, you could see me, but there I was just other people in the pictures. But yeah, I just didn't have any pictures of me. Guys, what ep did he show his hinge? I missed that. Don't go searching. Right, hang on. We're doing over and under. Stop talking about my dating life.
You've lost your head.
I've lost the dressing room. I've lost the dressing room. Higher or lower?
I'm having a look. Wait, no, I've done 3. I've done 3.
No, all of them are about my dating life now. God's sake. People
Maybe
saying
I
it's
should-
George at the door. It isn't.
Maybe I should be a dating expert.
You should. You did cook.
I just saw a comment. Maybe I should.
If you are a dating expert, you have to.
What?
3 years. 3 years till Alex is married. Higher or lower? Higher. Here we go. Jesus over or under 10 Premier League goals?
Lower. He ain't getting 10. As good as he's been, he's not getting 10.
How many is he on now?
3. Yeah, 3.
3. Yeah, 3. I mean, like 6 in 4 games or something. But yeah, 3. I'm gonna go.
I mean, if he does, fair play to him.
Under. I can't imagine. Sorry.
Do you know what? Fair play to him, by the way. You know, he's actually playing really well, and I know obviously we cook him a lot. I cook him a lot. I feel it's warranted given what we've seen previously. But do you know what's the interesting thing about Jesus is the fact that, and I tweeted it out, like Saka, outside of his array of qualities and skills, his ability to influence non-winning game states is ridiculous, and it's the same for Salah, it's the same for Haaland.
Yeah.
So far, we need someone to step up and be responsible in those scenarios, and that's been Jesus. You know, when we talk about the Palace Cup game, it was Jesus. Palace away in the Premier League, it was Jesus. Brentford, it was Jesus. Fair play.
Yep.
Keep it up,
100%.
though. Keep it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep it up. I'm watching you. I'm watching you closely.
Alex, future son, to get more Prem goals than Sterling for Arsenal. Higher or lower? Honestly, higher. My son, if I have a son, he's
Project
going
Mbappe.
in Project Moneypenny immediately.
What is the first thing you're gonna try and coach him to do?
I was about to say something horrific then. But
Be good with both feet. Be good with both feet.
Ball strike. No, what you do is you get like one of the little balls. You get one of the little balls and you just roll it to him. You get a little bit of control going, a little bit back and forth. Get him on the elliptical. So imagine a 3-year-old on. Dad, I don't want to do it. Yeah, both feet, then eating well, so he grows all right. Imagine, I wasn't going to feed my son until he was going to be a footballer. I'd just get him in the half spaces, mate. Honestly, my son is going to be in the half spaces. I'll tell you that very early. 85 points, higher or lower?
What are we on right now again?
Good question. Let me check. We are on 39 points. I think that's doable. You're right.
Thinking about it.
I can't see you because I'm on the other.
I'll go lower. I'll go slightly. I'll go slightly lower. Yeah, slightly lower. With the Saka
I don't think it will take. I think whoever gets 86, 87 points is winning the league.
I think slightly lower.
Yeah, I think lower.
I can see us getting like 82, 83, but I just can't see us hitting 85.
But the thing is, I think we're going to do better in the second half of the season, and we're currently on pace for a 78 point. So if we repeat it again, it'd be a 78 point season.
Actually, when you put it like that, but the Saka injury, I've still got doubts, so I'm going to stick with slightly lower.
I think it will be about 85 or maybe 84. I'm going to say lower.
Yeah,
I'm going to say lower. There were some good ones there. Oh, here we go. From Football Pat. Higher or lower? Max Dowman, 2 bench appearances for Arsenal this season, all comps.
Yeah, lower.
Lower.
Well, when's he going to play, really? We play Man United in the FA Cup, aren't we? Maybe if we play like, I don't know, Boreham Wood or something in the next round, if we beat United. But...
Boreham Wood. Okay. Controversial opinion. Is this controversial? I don't think it should be. This shouldn't be controversial, but it is. Just leave him alone.
Yeah,
bro's 14. Like, even if he is ready, he's 14. Genuinely, I'm of the opinion that I think until someone gets to 16, 17, then let them go.
Yeah, I agree.
If they're 14 years of age, they could be ready. They could be the best player in the world. I still think it's too early. because it's just you can't be you aren't mature at that age. You're also not mature at 16 or 17, but at least you're a little bit older. Oh, he's turned 15. Oh, that's fine then.
Is that GCSEs 15? 14?
Bro, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. He needs to learn about photosynthesis and
because you can
all
work
the
on other
wonders of
aspects.
Science.
It's like you can work on other aspects of your game, even if you're ready technically. Like even if you're ready, you can work on the physical aspects of your game. You work on the tactical aspects. You're not telling me a 14-year-old knows the game better than Mikel Arteta. Do you know what I mean? So you can learn that aspect. Go to school, bro. Wait. Like I just think it's too early. Honestly, I won't reveal what she said, but Miles's mum said a few things off camera to me about like what was happening at that age for Miles, and I was like, it's a mad world, bro. It's a mad world. Yeah, it's crazy. Higher or lower, Neto gets more than one game for Arsenal in his career.
He ain't playing a single game, that guy. He ain't playing a single game.
Because he's not playing the FA Cup. He's not playing because I'd play Raya.
I'd play Raya. Ain't playing him.
He's not playing Champions League, and he's not playing Premier League. And he's cup tied.
I mean,
I wouldn't even play him against Newcastle. So
no. I mean, I did read the Athletic article, and I get how it kind of unfolded, what led to us having Neto in the end, but it's a disaster. I tell you what, we're very lucky David Raya has managed to stay fit, right? That's one thing I will say. For one injury luck that we've had is David Raya staying fit, because I can tell you now, Neto is not very good. He's not very good. He's not.
Was that Edu just like...
Well, we need something, but we needed something, didn't we?
Edu was like that, that bit of work where it's like just before Christmas, and you're absolutely phoning it in. You're just like,
do you know, like it's like when you put your notice in, you've got to do 4 weeks, and it's like the last week in which you've got a little bit of work to do, but you just want to do it to like a decent standard where you don't want to try too much. Yeah. That's the Neto sign. It's like, just give them something, it will do. And then leave. We'll
circle back after the new year, basically. That is what that signing is. Wasn't it on deadline day as well?
Yeah, it was. It was on deadline day.
Crazy. Josie, you got me through shift. Love you, boys. Love you too, man. Hope it was all right. January, over or under 0.5 forward signings?
I don't think we'll do anything. I've got this feeling we won't do anything.
Do you actually not?
I'm going to be fuming if we don't do anything. Got a feeling, yeah.
Right, can we just lads and ladies?
Can we just for a second?
No, but can you imagine us not signing anyone? Like, we're positive. Do you know what's so mad, right? It's like we're meant to be the top gooners. Like, we're meant to be like,
I hate that phrase, top gooner. What does it even mean? Right?
It means basically you like happy things in life, pretty much. Right. That's what it means. But I think like that's basically what it means, isn't it? You just don't like abuse people half your age on the internet. I think like Catty. I just think like even if like me and you and George and like those kind of Arsenal fans are saying that we need are desperate and would be fuming, that tells you the state we're in.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
I think we've done really well so far in Saka's absence, but just look at our forward options without Saka, right? It's not the prettiest of pictures.
The moment we lose a game, I'm telling you, if we lose a game in January, I actually wrote down, because I was having a meltdown, I think post Fulham, and I wrote down every single winger I could think of. Just wingers, not even forwards, not even centre forwards. Adingra, Anthony Gordon, Leao, Rashford, Sane, Marmoush, Semenyo, Kvaratskhelia, Nico Williams, Gittins, Adeyemi, he's going to Villa now, Diao, he's gone to Como now, Madueke, Mbuemo, Kudus, Barkala, Mitoma, Bowen. I think that's 23 or maybe 18. Any others you can think of?
I'm just thinking about the world in which we don't sign anyone now. And thinking, how could you what is the argument to say that, Arsenal, there's a reason why we didn't bring someone in? I just can't think of a reason that goes against that's for the board and the club for not signing anyone. It actually be crazy.
Kubo and Zigrova. I think we are. I mean, I'm sure we are. Shortly. Please. Jesse, thank you for your super chat. Although with these, right, I don't understand if they're super chats or they're just members commenting. But other members comment and they... Is that super chat?
I have no idea. You're the YouTube guy.
No, I'm not, mate. I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't know what... but thank you. Thank you so much.
I think it's super chat, so thank you, Jesse. Thank you for listening to us waffle.
So it's not a new member? Is Jesse not a new member?
No,
or...
I don't understand that.
Okay.
It's not, people saying. Okay, interesting. Oh, you get a free monthly... It's a milestone chat. Oh, that's nice.
What does that mean? Like what?
So when they've been a member for a certain amount of time, they get a little chat that comes up like this. Oh, that's so nice. I'm so sorry. I realized that was what it was. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Jesse, for being a member for 8 months. Wow. And Josh being a member for 3 months. Less good, Josh. Come on. Keep up. That's great. Thank you, guys. Oh, well, a nice place to finish, eh, Rohan?
Yeah.
Any plans for the evening?
Time is it? 9 o'clock. Gotta get ready for work soon. The other day, no, not get ready for work. I need to go to bed soon. Actually, by the way, can we end on this? The idea of starting work in the new year on a Thursday is just, I don't get it. Like today was my first day at work. Nobody was there. Like nobody is there. People are using their annual leave or whatnot. I feel like if you're using your annual leave for the first couple of days, you're wasting it. You're just wasting it. Like, you've got to bank on that annual leave. Why can't we just start on Monday? Like normal people, why do we need to start on Thursday? Friday is tomorrow, in which people are down tools anyway. So yeah, I've got work tomorrow.
Work?
It is. It is, isn't it? Let's just start Monday. New week, new beginnings, etc. and all that lovely stuff. By the way, going gyms right now, forget about it at 5 p.m. Just forget about it. It's the new year, new me resolution. And do you know what? If that is your intention throughout the entirety of the year and for a long period of time, fantastic. Great. If it's just for a week, leave. Just leave. Just don't. It's not going to do anything, is it? Sorry for the end.
You've been quite angry today.
I'm thinking about that Virgin Atlantic guy a bit more. Because you can't do it. It can't happen twice in the same flight. What are the odds? What are the chances?
Do you think they were trying to target you? Do you think they maybe watched the podcast? They were like, right.
Maybe they were like, oh, it's that guy. It's that guy knows absolutely nothing. Let's get him. Let's get him.
You're excuse me. Your ball knowledge is elite. Nice. Elite. It is, Rohan. Come on. You got an elite ball knowledge.
Tell you what, you're catching me on followers on Twitter. I saw recently, but oh yeah, Moneypenny's catching me. Yeah.
What are you on?
21.2, I think. 21.2k.
Do you know what's funny? I think I know exactly how much YouTube subscribers I have to the number, but on Twitter I never really noticed.
I just saw today. I just had a little cheeky look at your profile.
Oh, I'm 400 away from you.
Yeah, you're.
I remember when I DM'd you as a puny little worthless person with no followers.
Do you know what though?
All of you listening with no followers. Brother,
Do you know what? I've actually watched it. You've like been increasing like month after month after month really well. Like I remember when you were like 8k, I think, when I was on like.
Why are you watching my followers?
I watch everything very closely, Alexander.
Alejandro, Coman, Malero, Bakayoko. There's lots of wingers. I don't think I mentioned Coman. Yeah, Coman's a great shout.
I love
Bakayoko. I haven't watched any Bakayoko, but I hear his name. Malero we spoke about with Remedy.
Is that the Las Palmas?
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. Tell you what, I need to watch more football. Coman, obviously, but Coman's injury record's very...
Yeah, it's crazy. George mentioned it on Instant Reaction. I don't... Yeah.
But Coman, you know, as a young Coman's like the perfect winger.
For 20 million, that's That's
I
nice.
need to
There's
watch a bit
there's
more
so
in
many
the
players,
season.
guys. There's so many players.
Yeah,
I haven't even got 1K on Twitter. You shouldn't even give me the time. I agree. I completely agree. If you don't have social following, you're nothing. Worthless.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I hate that. I saw this this meme the other day that was like, one of the best parts about getting old is you just become an NPC, and it's the best thing in the world. You just are. Do you know what I mean? You're just an NPC. You just
An
walk down the
NPC.
road. It's just fun. We'll finish there. Thank you, Rohan.
No worries, mate. Always good. I love
Well-
podcasting, actually. Do you know what? I actually really love podcasting.
Bloody hell. You're going to start your own Arsenal podcast?
I never do.
Cool.
I
It's just you going through everyone's tweets going, actually, it's not zonal, it's man to man. Actually, it's not.
I'm sure there'll be some audience who'd like that. Maybe some.
Yeah, I'd be there. I would be there. More than you believe. More than you believe. Thanks for watching, everyone. Appreciate you being here. We're here at 7:30 every Thursday night for the Nominal podcast. Yeah, good fun.
Yeah.
Got an instant reaction for the Brighton game on Saturday. Got Data Pod coming out tomorrow between Rohan and Other George. I feel bad for it being called Other George. He is his own person.
He's brilliant. He's brilliant. Like,
yeah, he's top. He's so good. It's so funny. He just DM'd me this thing, and I read it. I was like, Jesus Christ, it's so detailed. I remember it for like years ago, and then when I was looking for someone, I was like, I think that guy will be good. Trust your instincts, people. Any final words, Rohan?
No, thank you for being here. We really
Shout
appreciate
out to Virgin.
you. Huh?
Shout out Virgin.
That guy. I'll tell you what I did do. I gave him a look at the end. I did give him a look. You know, like at the end where you like shake the hands. You're like, oh, no, you don't shake the hands. You're like, oh, you say thank you and stuff. I didn't say thank you, so I'm proud of me in that sense. I said thank you to the person next to him. Say thank you to him.
The people pleasers guide to confrontation. I actually didn't say thank you when I got off the plane. So,
yeah. That'll show him.
Yeah, that'll show him. What we think about that. Thank you all. We love you all very much. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. And thanks for keeping Arsenal.